Thank you, David. So I'm going to declare that this is pi of 321. Okay? Well, what is that force? There's another I1, and that's forced to go to here. Where is it? Here. Pi of -1, -2, -3. And I guess as long as I've done this far, I might as well write down the last two. Which is it? 5 and 6? Yes, no.
Yep.
No, 6 and Did I skip one? I1, I1, IC, I1, IC, I1, 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 IC, I1, 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 oh, there's another, I missed an I1, I1, I1. And then 5 was IC, I1, and 6 was IC, I1, I1, IC, I1, I1. So this is not correct. This one goes here.
It seems like the human approach or description is that if you want at the end, not just power, because the representation is
We've seen this kind of phenomenon before, and it's always due to human error. Yes, well, go ahead, David.
The reason that you can think of a holomorphic representation of SP2NR is that you have in mind a very particular group of matrices, and period. That's the UN sits inside there in a very explicit way, and that's how you think you know what 321 is. If you just describe the group by the root datum, that isn't there. You don't have, the root datum doesn't give you a group of matrices. It's not accessible. What this atlas problem is doing is putting in evidence ambiguity that's really there. There's a place, if you look at how Langlands defines the Langlands parameter, say for the trivial representation of GLN, now that I say that, I feel like.
No, I think it's the zero spherical principal series where the splitting comes up.
Yeah, now I can't remember, but there's a place where there's a really well-defined representation, and it isn't clear which Langlands parameter you should attach to it. That's useless without my being more precise, and I can't remember. But I think this is not proving a superiority. Well, it's always nice if you have in mind a group of matrices where you can calculate the coordinates, but
Yes.
And that's
Right, but I think what Joe just said is that in SL2R, you have this picture, and these are the elliptic orbits, and you have a choice, that one or that one. It's the same choice. Okay, but it's the same choice.
this morning,
Yes.
showed us how to take a representation of GP mode. In terms understand it's one. So there should be no one in 60s.
That's,
No, but I think
it has to do with keeping in mind a strong real form. I mean, we've been talking all about strong, what Jeff calls strong real forms are Cartan involutions. There's this. I'm trying to remember. You've got this doubly extended group. I mean, if you want to make an extended group that has the anti-holomorphic automorphisms in it too. I'll just write a couple of words. So Jeff said that we always had this pinning on this complex reductive G. You had this basically this set of X alphas. That's really all it is. Well, I don't know. Because these things, well, I guess H, and
Yeah.
because these things essentially then generate N, and that gives you B is the normalizer, G, all this. This is basically what you have, this choice of basis vectors. And Jeff has been talking about having this delta, which is an automorphism of this stuff, and then making this group G upper delta, well, generated by G and delta, and sitting in here are these elements X. Well, this is in the non-identity coset. And well, this is what I call a strong Cartan involution. This is but there's something, if you want to talk about real groups, you need something else. You have sigma S is, this is the Chevrolet split form of G. And this is characterized by basically sigma S of X alpha is X alpha. That defines a particular, once we have this pinning, that defines a particular real form of G. And actually, this isn't the one that I want. Sorry, I should make sigma Q. This is a quasi-split form, and it's characterized by sigma Q of X alpha. It is X delta alpha. So what? How do I say it? Well, once you've got this basic this one distinguished real form, you can talk about other real forms by twisting this by elements of G. That's how you make strong real forms. And, well, the point is that there's, you can extend G by both this delta and sigma q. And what I want to say, sorry, is that if you're, well, so here you can define, this is the world where you should really define a strong real form, which is an element, I don't know, Z is G sigma Q, Z squared is in the center, something like sigma.
Why?
Y. I don't know. And then the issue is how you fit these two things together. And, well, to talk about representations of real groups, you should talk about these strong real forms. And to talk about GK modules, you should talk about these things, these X's. And you need to say when these things fit together. And I don't have in my head the right way to say things, but yeah, so I failed completely to explain anything. But the point is there is a way to talk about, yeah, I'm not even sure I did this correctly, but probably I didn't. Anyway.
So what's that? G over delta sigma?
Sorry?
That G over,
Oh, that means you extend G by throwing in this distinguished automorphism sig delta, and I haven't gotten it right yet, some particular real form.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, so the way I think of what David's saying is that, yes, you can make this precise and pin down exactly what we were talking about, but in practice, we never try and work that out, and it's just what I was saying before. In practice, I have this virtual SP in my head, and there are two bijections of its representations with the output of Atlas. And hello? Is it dead? It's dead. It's dead. Here, David.
No, the red light is on, which might mean that it's just muted. It's the battery.
Well,
The question is, two examples
yes.
where you have to make a choice between homomorphic and homomorphic.
Yeah.
Those are both cases where you get inside the appropriate flag module, you get two copies of the obvious.
That's correct. That's right.
They're the same, one is two bit.
Right.
The other is like less than 2, 3, whatever.
Yeah, well, so often this ambiguity doesn't occur. I mean, sometimes, so for example, for PSP, or let's talk about PSL2. For PSL2, there's only one discrete series with infinitesimal character rows. Because the two get glued together, and so there's no problem. So this isn't always a problem.
Jeff,
Yes? Yeah, I'll come back to that.
Okay.
So let me just finish this discussion over here. So how do you figure out the rest of this table? So there's 3 I1s. There are 2 here. These are the 2 large discrete series. And there are 2 large discrete series here. I'm not sure where they are, but one of them is there. I think the other one isn't there yet. So there's more information here, which is these cross actions. So you look at this table, and I decided that this guy, this was number 7. I decided to match that to 3, 2, 1, and I'm claiming that everything else is determined. And the way to see that is you go up to this table, and you see that these 3 columns here are what are called the cross action. We haven't talked about them yet, but what they do is they say they correspond to the 3 simple roots. The first 2 are the short, and the last one's the long one. And there's an operation called the cross action, and this is describing it. So this row here says that S1 applied to representation number 7 is itself. And that's automatic because it's a compact root. Compact roots always act trivially. On the other hand, this last simple reflection takes you to number 6. And that is to say, in the Atlas world, S3 applied to number 7 is equal to number 6. Okay? And so now I go back into the human world, and I compute what's S3 applied to pi 3, 2, 1. It's pi, you just apply this to the 1. 3, 2, minus 1. And then you rearrange them to make them descending if you need to, but it already is. And so that says that tells you that 3, 2, minus 1 goes here. So there's a unique way to match up these 8 discrete series with these 8 discrete series, which is consistent with the cross action. This action of the bijection is uniquely determined by commuting with the cross action. So that is to say, this table computes the cross action, and the cross action is something which is defined on the level of representations, and everything follows from that.
In the front desk. The people on the phone told me that was the fastest.
Okay.
Not that
Questions while David's replacing batteries?
So, but it just seems like we should match 2 by 2.
We need 2 by 2.
I mean, I don't know what's the next step after you go.
Well, it's a
from
graph.
7.
I mean, you could draw a graph of this thing. Graph of the cross action. You start with 7, and it goes to by 3 to 6, and 6 goes by goes to 6, 4, and 7. So this goes by 4. Oh, sorry, goes by 2 to 4, and 4 goes whatever. You just keep going, and you get some graph, and you can get everywhere. You can traverse all of the discrete series by this action. So you can start at 7.
That's how Atlas found them in the first place.
Yeah, you start at 7, you go to 6, and then you go to 4, and then you go to 3, or then you go to 0. And
Oh, wait, why from 6 you go to 4?
Well, because here's 6, and then there's a 4. So you do a cross section in root 2, you get to 4. And then you do,
But there's also a 7.
well, you can do that also. I'm just saying, if you wanted to get to 0, you could get there.
Oh, I see.
So I think
Yeah.
that this is not so different from what we do in real life. This graph series is parameterized by an infinitesimal character and a positive system. And he says they are two the same if they are conjugated by case. So what is he doing? Conjugate to make a bar group. And in real life, you choose an abstract carton and you choose a positive system. That's your physical series to start with. And what does he do? Take a model and then conjugate by bar group. And avoid conjugating by K because you're going to get the same thing. And that is what he's doing.
100%.
The same
Oh, why don't you
human,
bring
human people do that. Conjugate by bar group elements. And that is the procedure.
Yep, that's exactly correct.
And the only thing is that you have to decide where you want to start.
Thank you, Leticia.
Just
That's
choose a
really
model,
true.
choose a
That's-
master carton.
Okay.
And so they are all attached to the compact carton, so all the two are imaginary. There's no K, no core, nothing.
So while we're on the subject, maybe I might as well talk about Cayley transforms. So what we just described is how you move around. If you start with a discrete series, you can move around and get all of the other discrete series by actions of the Weil group. But if you look at this table, of course, you don't get anything beyond the discrete series. You're just moving around among them. But that's where these columns come in. There's also an operation called the Cayley transform. And the basic idea of a Cayley transform
Could be a good idea to run on a movable board.
So Cayley transform means we just call the square of Cayley transform. Going from one bucket to another.
No, going from one carton to another, going from the compact carton to a more split carton. So for example, in SL2R, there are two discrete series, and actually, why don't I put the table up on the board? SL2R has two discrete series, and there's just one simple root, and the cross action takes 0 to 1 and 1 to 0. So you get back and forth here by S1 and a right cross to indicate that's a cross action. Okay? Now, the other thing in this table is this column. It says, again, there's one column because there's one simple root. And there's something called the Cayley transform, which when you apply it to parameter 0, you get parameter 2. And the star indicates that sometimes these Cayley transforms are double valued, but not in this case. So the picture is Cayley transform sub 1 takes you to the principal series. And the Cayley transform here takes you to the principal series. So what is the Cayley transform?
So can we, I wasn't going to correct the single misprint, but on the bottom 3 characters are all wrong.
Bottom 3.
The plus also.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay. So what's a Cayley transform? Well, it takes a compact. You can conjugate the. I did this the other day. I actually wrote down a 2x2 matrix for SL2, which, if you apply it to the diagonal carton, gives you this other carton. And so on the level of complex cartons, it's conjugating one carton to another. But it's taking the Cayley transform takes the complexification of the compact carton to the complexification of the split carton. But there's a way to sort of soup it up and actually apply it to parameters. Roughly speaking, you have a parameter here, you try and sort of kind of take the same parameter here and just change x. And that's, anyway, the theory of Cayley transforms has been around for a long time, and it's implemented in the software. And that's this column here. And as I've indicated, if you look at this parameter, number 2, the cross action takes it to itself. And the Cayley transform is double valued.
We need that if you start with 1 with this series, say SL2R,
Yes?
you will apply from the level of representations. Can we add a discrete series of SU11?
No. Well, when you say SU11, I mean, let's just stick in SL2R. We're in SL2R.
But
So the idea is that so in the old-fashioned human terms.
Actually, the question has a really nice seed in it.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is that Atlas prefers to think of this discrete series as a discrete series for SU11, which has a diagonal torus. The Cayley transform replaces that discrete series by a principal series for SL2R, which has a diagonal torus. and it's
Yeah.
basically, as Jeff says, the same character on that same diagonal torus. That's
Yeah, that's the Atlas way. I was going to describe the old-fashioned way, but I think David raised a good point. So you start with SU11, and you start with the diagonal torus, and you start with you start with the character chi is equal to e to the I theta. That gives you a discrete series. You do a Cayley transform, and you replace this with SL2R and the diagonal torus, which is now this. And what is e to the I theta? That's you can really think of it as being chi is equal to it's the character z goes c cross. It's the character. Actually, let me put k here. That'll be a little clearer. Maybe. It's z goes to z to the k, restricted to S1. Right? I have a character of S1. I can think of it as being the restriction of an algebraic character of C cross. And so over here, I can do the same thing. Take the same character from C cross to C cross, which is z goes to z to the k, and restrict it to R cross. You get x goes to x to the k. Is that right? Yep. Excellent. The reason I had to ask is it's possible that there's actually a sign there, and David assures me this.
It's not clear that you need to choose besides the one.
I'm sorry, what?
You need to choose how to identify a coordinate system.
Absolutely, and that's, yeah, you're absolutely right. So that gets into the whole, the whole ball game. The fact is that if I'd chosen the other strong involution, it would have flipped those, and you're right. You have to keep track of that.
So how do you generate from one discrete series the other?
You just in classical terms, you just take this representation. You take this SU11, and you take the compactor time. You take e to the I k theta, and you apply S alpha to it to get e to the minus I k theta. That's all it is.
So in classical terms, you change the character, as Jeff said. In Atlas terms, you change the carton involution. by conjugating the Cartan involution by S alpha. I mean, the Cartan involution for SU11, it's acting trivially on the torus, but not trivially on the whole group. So when you conjugate it by more or less the reflection in the vial group, you don't do anything on the torus. It's still acting trivially on the torus, but you've changed it on the whole group.
And in Atlas, what the effect of this is you're changing this strong involution to that strong involution. And they're,
You should conjugate it with complicated transformers that multiply it and then with inclusion.
no, we're talking cross actions here.
Oh, cross-section. I thought we were talking again.
Well, yes, but there was a local question. It was let x equals k. Anyway, it's gone now.
Yes.
Sorry, but what exactly is the K transform?
What exactly is it? It's a little complicated to say, but I'll just give the rough idea. Ah, okay. Yeah, okay. So you have some Cartan subgroup H of R, and then you have some other, and you have a alpha, which is a simple non-compact group. Actually, let me just, well, I'll try and say it a little bit. Simple non-compact group.
Could we generate a subgroup?
Yeah, that's what I was going to do. So alpha gives you a copy of SL2, the one generated by this group alpha. And so inside that SL2, you can do this operation. You can switch from the compact Cartan to the split Cartan, and then just sort of bump that up to. So what you do is you take H prime of R is equal to H of R, except in this SL2 alpha, you switch the S1 to an R cross. You can sort of imagine that works. And then you have a character here, chi. You go to a new character here, chi prime, and chi restricted to H of R intersect H of R prime. H prime of R is equal to chi prime restricted to the intersection. And the differentials are the same. And, sorry.